when you're telling stories, we're giving people a voice, we're giving groups a voice, and we're solving that problem there. We're giving people a voice that don't have a voice. Telling and storytelling, we're able to showcase things in a manner and cover topics that you might not necessarily want to have a conversation about, but you're gonna watch and it gets your mind thinking, going on that. I never thought about that, or I didn't know this was an issue. So the platform of being a filmmaker and being an actress to me is so unique, is we can cover so many things. We can start those conversations. We can give insight. We can show you what you don't know or haven't seen in an artistic way to get these issues out there.
Sure.
So yeah, definitely. You can encompass all issues in filmmaking.
Hi, everyone. It's Dr. James Smith Jr. here, and welcome back to another edition of the Dr. James Show. Now, if you are a faithful viewer, you know that from time to time, we feature our alumni, and we call it Alumni Love. Who are our alumni? Our previous guests over the past 100+ shows who have spent time sharing their wisdom and knowledge and experience with us. And right now, it's time for another edition of Alumni Love. Check it out. Hey everyone, Dr. James here. And you know on the Dr. James Show, we really work hard on our alum. Today, we have Councilman Derek Green with us, an alum of the show. Brother Green, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing well, Dr. James. It's a pleasure to be with you and your listeners. Now, I no longer can use the title council member because a few weeks ago, I resigned from City Council of the City of Philadelphia to run for mayor. Yes. And I'm running because I believe the citizens of the City of Philadelphia should expect more and deserve better from our city.
We're going to be in good hands. We're going to be in great hands. Thank you. I was praying that you did. Let me know what I can do. We love our alumni. We love you. We wish you all the best for a successful and prosperous campaign.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care. Welcome back. Like I said, we love our alumni. But now we're going to move into our special guest. And yes, she is special. Dominique Janelle. Dominique is American actress, production manager, director, chief operating officer of Redemption 46 Studios. I've known her for some time, and I can't wait for her to tell her story. But before we dive into her story, let's take a look at a quick movie trailer with Dominique and her co-director talking about their upcoming movie, Money Lovers. Let's take a look.
What's up, y'all? Look who I got.
It's me.
I got Dominique Janelle with me, man. She is the AD, but you might be the co-director of Money Lovers. I'm Kyrie Terrell, the writer and producer and director, and I'm in it a little bit.
A little bit. You got a little part in it.
I might be in there. Money Lovers is coming soon, man. So we just wanted to come to y'all for a second and just talk to y'all, man. What's up, co-director?
You know, I'm feeling really good about this project.
You feeling good? We did a thing?
I think we did a thing.
I think we did a thing. Tell them about the project.
All right, so let me tell you how he had it as outside in 10-degree weather, shooting this joint like he didn't care about nobody's well-being.
I'll never do a wintertime production again if it requires us to be outside. Indoors is cool, but outside we ain't doing that again.
Nah.
It was rough.
Yeah. But no, Money Lovers.
It was also her idea, though. I tried to push it back. She was like, we doing it now.
If you say we gonna do it, we gonna do it.
It was cool.
If you say we gonna do it, we're going to do it. And right now, we're going to do it by bringing out Dominique Janelle. Dominique, welcome to the Dr. James Show. What's up?
Hey.
Now, did you guys do it? Is it ready?
It's done.
Okay.
It's ready. Yep.
Love it. Why should people come check this out?
Oh my gosh. The movie is first it touches on a very unique topic that a lot of people are starting to learn about. So the movie is based upon the cyber crimes, Bitcoin, scamming and stuff like that, which we face it a lot now. And a lot more people are starting to learn more about it. So this movie, I think, is really hitting the market at a pivotal point where we're bringing awareness to it and we're putting an entertainment spin to it. So it's very relevant right now.
I love it. Very timely. I'm so proud of you. Proud of you for how you've evolved, what you've done, which leads to my first or second question, actually. Mm-hmm. Since you're now in the filmmaking movie industry, let's think about your life, your movie. Was it a horror, comedy, drama, funny, chick flick? If they were to do a movie of your life, what type of movie would it be? And what would be the title? And who would you want to star as you?
Oh, okay. I would say if it was a movie done about me, it would be on the lines of a drama. I would say it would be more like a drama. Yeah, definitely like a drama, a little bit of action. It would, what it would be titled?
Yeah.
I would say it would be titled The Rising. I would title my movie The Rising, because I think it would encompass how my life has gone, the ups and downs. And I know a lot of people have ups and downs, but my strive to keep winning and to keep pushing forward, everything would definitely. Who would I have play me? Oh gosh. I would say, because she's one of my faves, I would probably have Sanaa Lathan play me.
Oh. We won't get into the leading man. We'll leave that alone. Now, you were born in Philly, moved to South Jersey, went to Rancocas Valley High School, went to Rutgers, started working at Verizon, where I met you, customer service. And after we met, I fell in love. You took care of me. And when I would go into Verizon, I would not talk to anybody else but you. And then the rising continued, and you ended up doing what you're doing now. Tell us about that transition from your job at Verizon to what you're doing now. Because we talked about that years ago, and you did it.
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
It was, the transition was, it was something that I just felt was very necessary. The way that my life transitioned in the path that it did, it was a calling within that I just kept feeling. And it started off with confusion, knowing that I'm in a position in my life where I'm not at my full potential. I'm not utilizing my talents and my gifts. I'm not in a space where I'm destined to be. Like, I'm here, but this is just one of the spaces I'm supposed to be in. So just trying to discover where my destination is, where my talents lie and everything, and kind of going through that discovery process. And then once I found out, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. It was the confidence that I had in doing that was just through the roof. And I just went full force, because it's like, now I found my purpose. And once I found that purpose, You
said you felt your calling. What did that feel like? Was it on your mind every day? Were you just interested in what you were doing? Did you do more research? What did that calling feel like? Because it did propel you to what you're doing now.
The calling, it was confusion. There was uncertainty. There was that gut feeling, knowing that what I'm doing now is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm called to do something else. I got to figure out what that is. But what I'm doing now, I know is not. I felt it in my core. Like, this is not me. This is not for me. And I got to figure out what is for me. And so it's like that. And it was just that whole process. Okay, I got to get into action. I have to figure it out. I have to do some self-discovery to figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing, because I knew, like, I just knew this wasn't it.
What advice would you have for others? Because research will tell you that today, 85% of us are in jobs we don't like. And 80% of us are in jobs where we do the same thing over and over again. It's called underemployed. We're only utilizing 20% of our skill set. It sounds like at some point in your career, you were there working those 9 to 5 to 8 to lates. You were there, but you left. What advice would you give to the others who are underemployed, who get paid 100% for 50% of how they show up? Any advice?
My main thing would just be really understanding what it is that you want to do, what your passion is. Finding that piece, that purpose piece, is huge. I would also say, once you find that purpose piece, that the level of confidence that I know I developed once I knew my purpose, this is my purpose. How can I lose? It's not going to be easy. No one said it's going to be easy, but if this is my purpose, how can I lose? And if you really believe that, then it's not oh, well, how is it going to work? I don't know, but it's working because this is my purpose. So I don't have to know the answer to it. I just have to keep walking in it and just keep evolving and going where I know I'm supposed to go. And that's really it. But it's definitely a self-reflection piece that you really have to really understand yourself and know yourself, know your position in your life and where it is that you're supposed to go. Once you understand that, the transition, it can be scary. Because like I said, I left security. I left
perceived security, okay?
Right. I left all that, but it was just, once I knew, there was no happiness unless I was doing what I was purposed to do. I didn't have happiness, and I was going to get that happiness, and it was scary, but it was that confidence of knowing my purpose. You just can't beat it. I don't care what anybody says.
How have you evolved? What skills are you using now that you didn't use before when you were in perceived security? Is it creativity? Is it being more innovative? Is it more of a leader? Talk about the new and improved 2.0 version of Dominique Janelle.
I honestly, since I transitioned my career and I'm doing what I know I'm purposed to do, I honestly feel like a butterfly. Before I was a caterpillar, I honestly feel like a butterfly. I knew the talents that I had within. I knew the skill sets that I had, and it was not being utilized. So that was a big thing of being unhappy and knowing that this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm destined to do something greater, because I felt that I was so talented. I had so many skill sets, and it was not being acknowledged. It was not being appreciated. And I was just felt like I was in a cage. Ooh. So once I stepped into what I know I'm supposed to be doing and going into the film industry, I'm flying like a butterfly. Like I said, I went from being just a low rep in a big company to being a COO of a production studio.
and I saw that when I would come in, we would chop it up and talk about your vision, your dream. And at that time, you were one day, someday, eventually, but I could see it burning inside of you. And again, very proud of you for what you accomplished. Describe your life now as an actress. I mean, you're the CEO of your own company. You're on the set. You're directing. You're helping produce. You're your mom. What's your life like now as an actress?
I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life. But I honestly can say, when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. I do 12, 16-hour days. I don't feel like I'm working. I'm loving every minute of it. It's a lot of time management, a lot of balance that I have to create. My days are long and hectic. When I'm on set, I'm the go-to person. I'm running and managing all departments and everything, making sure we're on time and on task. So it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but I'm so passionate about it. I love it. My family is supportive of what I'm doing. My children are supportive. They just think it's the coolest thing in the world. They think it's cool.
My mom's an actress.
Yeah, they're like, my mom's an actress. My mom makes movies. Like, what does your mom do? Like, they love it. Like, they love it. They're like, I brought them to a red carpet premiere and put them in suits, and they were just they had a ball. So
good. I did some research, and I looked up some keys to being a phenomenal actor. Some keys, and they were: number 1, hardworking; number 2, endless stamina; number 3, having a positive attitude; number 4, great focus; and number 5, loving it. Would you add anything to that, or is that a pretty good list?
I would say all that. The main point I would add to that would just be professionalism.
Okay.
I know a lot of times when you're passionate, you love things and all those other things, sometimes professionalism can get lost in that. So the only thing I would definitely add to that would be professionalism.
I read someplace else where it said having respect for the audience, respect for the industry, respect for the character you're playing, where
absolutely
you let that character come out, not be like a puppeteer where it's now time to raise your arm, just let it transfer from you to the character. Would you add to that?
That would I definitely would say, yeah, respect is huge. You got to respect the craft. You got to respect the industry, the people you're playing, the characters you're playing, fictitious or not. That's definitely huge. That really hit it. Yeah, that's a good one. That really hit it on respect. Absolutely.
There's a question out there. It says, what 3 qualities do you think an actor needs to be successful and perform well? So what 3 qualities or characteristics do you think an actor needs to be successful and perform well?
3 qualities. I would say definitely the commitment. Definitely the commitment to it.
What does that commitment look like? I mean, I hear the word commitment, but from your vantage point, when you say commitment, what are you talking about?
Commitment to the process. It's not an easy process. What you see versus what it takes to get to what you see is a really big process. So the commitment to go through that acting process, that character discovery, getting into that character, being on set in that character, and all those things that come with it, the studying that has to go into it, all that all takes commitment. And you got to commit to yourself, to the production, to do a good job. Anybody can just say, oh, I can say these lines, but are you committed to making sure that it's believable, making sure you're doing the best job that you can, doing it justice?
I love it. So that 1 is commitment. Give me 2 more. 2 more. So the commitment needs to be there in order for me to be successful and perform well. What else? If you think about your long days, if you think about long days on the set, do it again, or perhaps working with someone who you're not particularly fond of, what characteristics? 2 more.
Patience. I would say
you must have thought of somebody.
definitely patience. Just with the whole process, it is a very long process. People don't understand. You can be on set for 12, 15, 16 hours, and you might not have shot that much. It might be 5 minutes of a movie you see, but it took us 16 hours to get it. So it's definitely the patience with the whole process, and people, you're on set working with a whole bunch of different personalities, and a whole bunch of different, so it's just having the patience in that whole experience. Definitely.
I love it. I'm gonna let you off the hook for the 3rd one because I have another question, because this is my first interview with an actor, my first one. What happens when you have to do one of those lovey scenes and you're hugging on somebody or kissing on somebody? How do you act? I mean, doesn't your body feel what's happening? How do you divorce personal from professional when you're acting?
Yeah, I think that's the number 1 question.
I waited 15 minutes to ask.
It's definitely a number one, a top question I get. The thing is, what you see is the finished product. It's the product of angles, editing, music, scoring, all that, the cuts. That's what you see. It's nothing like that when you're actually doing a scene. So if you're doing it, it's the most awkward thing I think in the world. So there's no emotional attachment to the whole process. It's the most awkward thing in the world. You have 10 people in the room. You have lights and cameras right in your face. And you have somebody, like for me, when if I was to direct those scenes, and it's me standing right there looking at you, do this, stop, do this, okay, do this, so there's no emotional attachment in that moment at all. And it's so awkward. But when we put it all together, it looks phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it does.
And it's just like, wow, but that's the goal. And it's all on angles. Like a lot of times things that you think are happening are nowhere near happening because it's the angle.
Speaking of movies, what type of movies do you make? Do you star in? Is it a certain type, or is it a very expansive genre? What type of movies?
I go for all kinds of genres. I don't really want to stay within one type of genre because I love all genres of film. I know a lot of the movies that I do are predominantly Black leads, or will be in those films, which I love the whole Black experience in filmmaking and movie telling, storytelling. So those are probably the most type. But the genre, I've done drama, I've done action, I've done thriller, I've done horror, I've done fantasy, and I love all. And I'm even working on a project now where it's more biographical. So I don't have a preference. I like doing all of it. I love it all.
The reason why I asked, we're going to show a series of pictures right now, and these pictures show you as tough, carrying a gun, being bloody. I'm like, what type of movies? Let's take a look at some of the pictures, and if you can describe what's happening in that picture. Okay. What's going on there?
So that is a from a pilot that I shot, and I'm actually a vampire assassin. So if you can think of like Underworld,
yes,
Celine and Underworld, that's me, and behind me there are two witches.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so it's a witch vampire werewolf type pilot. Yeah.
Tough. Let's go to the next picture. Let's go to the next one. I think this one, picture of you with your hand on your hip with a gun. Let's take a look at this. Tell me what's happening here.
Yes. So I was a detective. Yeah, that was Detective Crawley there. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I was a lead detective, and I was trying to find out about a series of homicides and robberies.
Did you have to use that gun?
Actually, yeah, I did. I did.
This next picture, it might go back to the previous one when you were a vampire. Let's take a look at this one. You got a lot of blood on your face. Let's take a look. What's happening? What's happening here?
So that was in the very. So that was a timepiece where it was kind of like we went back in time to the origination of the story with us being the vampires and stuff. Yeah. So we were at a battle, and things got real. We were actually in a battle. The vampires were in a battle with werewolves at the time. So yeah. So that was the finished product of me and my co-star, which was another vampire. We just took out a werewolf.
Now tell me about this next picture, because it looks like you're in some trouble. It looks like you are in some trouble. What's happening here?
This project was something completely new for me, but I had so much fun. It was a movie called Scam City, and that's covering the different credit card scammers that the big influx of credit card scamming that's being done in New York. So there was this team of scammers, and there was a team of street hustlers, and the street hustlers weren't doing well and the scammers were doing better. So there was a feud between the two types of groups. I was on the team, the other team, and they were using me to bait me to get to somebody on the other side.
Do you write in your stuff, or is it the directing and the starring in?
Yeah. Actually, I don't write. I don't write anything. And I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people say eventually you should write. I'm writing. I give my hat off to writers. It is a long process. I cannot stay focused enough to write a script that long. But so my hats are off to writers. But mostly, yeah, I will star in something. I'll be featured in something, and I assist and directed or directed.
I love it. I love it. We have another question out there. It says, Dominique Janelle, what do you feel are the most important items an independent filmmaker should know before producing a film? Casting, budgeting, timelines, scoring. So again, what do you feel are the most important items an independent filmmaker should know before producing a film?
The most important thing, there's so many things that are important, but allotting yourself enough time. The biggest thing for independent filmmakers that need to know is pre-production. Production is when you're actually on set with the cameras and the action. Pre-production is huge. If you don't have everything, if you don't have enough time to do that, if everything in place to have your location, to get your characters, to get your wardrobe, your makeup, your schedule, like if you don't do that whole planning process, once the ball is rolling, you don't know what's going to happen. There's so many things that come up, but if you have successfully done your pre-production and planning and contingency process, when you're on set and things come up, you can maneuver, you can navigate through it, you can stay on task and on target, and you can successfully complete your project. When I can tell films that have not done the appropriate pre-production process by the way they execute, I can tell every time.
Now, did you go to school for this? Did you just do your own research? How did you begin to trend in a direction where you say, I got this now? What went into
I did not go to school for it. That's not something I went to school for. It's just my passion for it is just so big. I put myself through school, if you would say, you know, you got YouTube University, you have all these, and I have mentors in the business. So self-learning online, I'm always looking up, Googling, reading. I will read all kinds of books and tutorials and everything. I've done a lot of self-training. And the biggest thing is just being on set. I started getting on set with smaller roles and just learning, talking to everybody, absorbing all the information, observing how everything goes. And just really, that was like school for me. It's just being on different sets. It was school for me, which eventually, and then with my own teaching and my own studying, I'd be up to 3 o'clock in the morning, reading, watching videos, learning different things. So
commitment, that's the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the commitment. I'd like to show the audience another look at you doing what you do. It's 2 quick, I guess you call them trailers. I believe one is from the movie By Blood Only, and the other is Just Like That season 3. Let's take a look at these next 2 video clips.
Call in your hours and take off a month without pay.
So I guess you can't help with your half of the bills now, right?
You still looking for work?
Look, I said you had me confused with somebody else.
Look, I have to check you for a while, all right? You can't ever be too careful in this business.
Yes, wait, that's very sexy.
Dad, what's wrong?
I need my pain meds. It's excruciating.
Well, your father made me the sole beneficiary of his will. So I get to decide who gets money and who does not.
As flattered as I am, and as pissed as I am with men right now, I just don't think I can come to the other side.
Look, I'm here because I just need a man to hold me. I just need somebody to tell me that everything is gonna be okay.
911, please, I need some help. My friend, she's freaking out and she's really scaring me right now.
Talk to us about those. Talk to us about those.
Oh my gosh, you guys definitely do your research. That was delayed gratification. That was my very first film, very first time acting, very first film that I've ever done in my entire life. That's where I started.
And how far have you grown professionally since then?
Oh my gosh, I've grown so much. And when I look at that, it's almost, I kind of cringe a little bit because I'm like, oh my God, it's so bad. Because it was like the first, and then I can see where I'm at now, and it's just like, oh my God, it's so bad. But it's like, you got to start somewhere, right? But actually that show was amazing. A few years ago when that came out, it actually went overseas, was streaming in 160 countries. Like it overseas, they loved it. Did
160 countries. Wow.
It did phenomenal. That show did phenomenal. So when I look back and I think, again, talking about that purpose piece, when I look back, that was my very first acting job, was on a show. I got the lead role and it did phenomenal. And it you know, yeah.
Talk to us about we talked about the production prep. Talk to us about what you do to get ready for a scene when you're acting. What do you do to ready? For me, before I go on to speak, I need my quiet time. I don't want anyone to talk to me. I'm getting in my zone, ready to go out and just be super. What about you? What do you do to prep, to get ready?
My prepping piece, I know some people like to, they make sure they memorize their lines. That's not an issue. I'm very fast at memorizing lines and stuff. My biggest preparation piece is really understanding who I'm supposed to be and really getting into that mindset. I spend a lot of time understanding how that person thinks. What would that person say or not say? What are their moods? What are their little quarrels or the body language of that person, the nonverbals of that person? How would I move? How would I sit? How would I talk? I spend a lot of time on that. Once I get into really understanding who I'm supposed to be and what my character, who my character really is, the lines, they just, they are what they are. But I spend a lot of time on that part because when I step on set, I want you to see the character. I don't want you to see me. Yeah. And if you see me, then I'm not doing my job.
That's what I guess actors are doing when we're watching movies and we know they're a movie, but the reaction we have, it's almost as if it's now real. We cry, we smile, we flinch, and you're acting, but you're able to get us to feel and see and hear what's happening in the moment. And we now believe it's the character and no longer you.
Right.
Is that something you're thinking about as you are acting, really telling this story, becoming this person?
Absolutely. You want people. You want people to not see you. And it's a lot of people, sometimes it's hard for actors to really get into that mindset. This is not me. When I'm in character, this is not me. It's not how I think and not what I would do. I don't look at it as, oh, I can't say that or I can't do that because it's not me. It's not me. And if I bring me to a character, then you're not full in and it's not going to be believable. And there's no cheating. There's no cheating. Like, people try to cheat all the time. There's no cheating. If you're crying and you're not really upset, then we can tell.
You mentioned earlier in the interview that you have amazing support from your family. We'll put a picture up there someone who I think you know, and tell me about the role that she has played in your life and continues to play in your life.
That's mom. That's mom. Oh gosh, it's mom. Like the role that my mother plays in my life and my career is just unbelievable. I mean, the support that I get from her is just phenomenal. Like, she's my confidant. She's my go-to. She's the person that I'm on the phone with all the time, telling everything to. And I could talk to her and have conversation with her about everything. And the phenomenal thing is my mom is a doctor. So,
yeah.
So, and when I transitioned into acting and film, the great part is she's a doctor. So she knows, she's like a family therapist.
Yes.
So I've even had conversations with her like, this is who I'm supposed to be. How would I feel? How would I think? What issues I might have? And go over those character development pieces. She helps me.
Nice.
And she's my little secret weapon. She's my secret weapon to help me, because it's like sometimes I have to be somebody that I can't relate to. So how can I relate to them? And I can talk to her about it, and she'll say, well, somebody like this would do this, this, and this, or wouldn't do this, and I'm like, oh, okay. And she really helps. So she's great.
That's good. That's good. I can see the relationship. I can see where you got the commitment from. But there's someone else who's been playing a key role in your life. Let's take a look at this picture and tell me the impact that he has had on your life. Let's take a look.
That's dead. That's dead.
What role does he play? Is he that tough guy father? Is he nice and easy? Is it daddy's little girl? Talk to us about that relationship.
It's a balance. It's a balance of all that. It really is. I am daddy's little girl, still and forever will be. Daddy's little girl. My dad he's been tough, he's been stern, he's been loving, caring. He's provided me with such a good balance, and him and his work ethic, that I get that from my father. My work ethic, my drive to learn, to get it done, to self-teach, all that's my father. My father has definitely instilled that in me, the professionalism and how I carry myself, regardless. That's my dad.
That's dad. Mm-hmm. Now, I use this quote a lot. It's grammatically incorrect, but I think it's true. And that is, they become who you be. They become who you be. We'll put another picture up there. And I want you to tell us, who are these two young men becoming? Let's take a look. Who are they becoming? Who
that's
are they becoming?
My sons, oh my gosh, they're phenomenal. My kids, they're just great. They've been so supportive. They're so loving, and they're so understanding. And that's the biggest piece, because when you do film and production, it's a lot of time, a lot of energy, but they're so understanding and supportive, with helping me with that balance between being the mom and then understanding that, mom has to go here, do this, be away, go away for a couple of weeks on a production and come back, and all those things. So they, and I just love how I can see the influence of what I'm doing on their lives. And my kids, and I didn't mention this in a bio, but they were inspired during the pandemic. They own their own business.
Wow. These two gentlemen they become who you be. You own your own business now. They own their own. That's all. Tell me about their business. It's clothing line, right?
It's a clothing line called Adjacent Clothing. Yeah. My son, he wanted to do it. Both of them came together. They said they wanted to own their own business. And I helped them through that process. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And I kind of, if this is what you want to do, I'll sew into you. And me and their dad would, okay, this is what we're doing. And we kind of got behind them and created this company for them. We all brainstormed, came up with the name, and we're trademarked. Everything is it's great, and it's just something that we wanted to have for them to have. If this is what they wanted to do, you have it. Once you have it, it's yours. As you get older, they'll be able to sow into it even more, but no one can take it from them. So
if someone wanted to learn more about you or see some of your video trailers or just find out who Dominique Janelle is, where could they go?
I would say the number two places to go, for one, especially to see all the things I have done in my career, is IMDb. I am on there. All of my credits, all of the projects that I'm involved in and what I do for them is on my IMDb. And you can simply search just Dominique Janelle on IMDb. All my credits will come up. And I would say outside of that would be my Instagram. I post a lot of my stuff on there, Dominique.Janelle on Instagram. And you can see, I put a lot of my trailers up there and stuff. I do a lot of announcements when it comes to any premieres, showings, interviews, everything. Yeah. So.
And I take a little bit of credit for that because you did go through our boot camp. Yes.
Yeah. That boot camp, you don't understand. And I tell people this all the time. Your boot camp was part of that pivotal moment in my life when I was transitioning from, I know this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And that whole period that I went through to try to really self-discover and figure things out and set myself on that path. Your boot camp was a part of that process.
I remember you processing while you were going through it. I'm like, oh, she's there and she's there. She's going back and forth, elevators going up and down, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. And you were amazing. You played full out, all in, and you kept saying, I'm going someplace. I'm going someplace. Go another question in the audience. What unique challenges do you feel a woman of color or woman overall faces as an actress and businesswoman in the filmmaking industry? Great question, because I'm remembering what's been happening in the industry with women and the Me Too movement, some of the directors and owners not handling themselves professionally. So I'll repeat, what unique challenges do you feel a woman of color or a woman in general faces as an actress and businesswoman in the industry? So two roles, actress and businesswoman.
It's definitely challenging. It's definitely an industry where you have to maneuver in a little bit different of a way. Like I said, even when you talk about the Me Too movements and stuff like that, it's definitely challenging because you do come across a lot of different types of people. And as a woman, you have to kind of judge it. Are you keeping this business? Are you trying to get personal? And because honestly, in the filmmaking industry, we're not traditional. So my meetings are not in the office. A lot of times my meetings are at a restaurant. A lot of times they're at a coffee shop. Sometimes, Zoom, and sometimes in the office, but sometimes I can have a meeting 10 o'clock at night. Sometimes I can have a meeting 9 o'clock in the morning. It's not traditional by any means. So you have to navigate that process and who you work with, and is this going to stay business? Are you going to try to get personal? And it could be very challenging. I definitely, you got to have your antennas up, and you have to be cautious. But I think when you let people know and you set them boundaries from the first moment you meet them, and let them know, what it is and what it isn't, that definitely helps, because people will test and try and stuff. Well, you want to do this, I can get you to do this. And so you definitely have to, you come across it, unfortunately. You definitely have to navigate through it. I've been blessed to have worked with a lot of great males that I feel safe with, that are protective of me. And that's my number one thing. I don't care what the project is and how much it pays. If I don't feel safe or I don't feel protected in your presence, I'm not going to do it. And having that, and unfortunately, as women, we have to really. I go into this field with the knowledge that I will walk away at any moment if necessary. I love it so much, but I will walk away at any moment. And understanding that, and if you have that process, then that you can't have people hold things over your head. You can't hold my career over my head, because I'll let it all go for the betterment of myself.
Sure.
Yeah, so definitely navigating that, and then a woman of color. Greatly enough, a lot of sets that I've been hired on and a lot of productions I've worked on, I've had people tell me, you're a Black woman doing the position that you do. We don't see a lot of Black women in that position. So that alone, I want you on my team.
Wow. That's amazing. What keeps you going? And have you ever gotten to a place where you were overwhelmed by the enormity of everything you were doing?
I do get overwhelmed sometimes. And so self-care is huge, and setting those boundaries and saying, I got to shut down and take care of me for a minute. It definitely can be very overwhelming. I get pulled in 15, 16, 20 million directions at one time, a lot. That's the norm of my life. So it definitely can be overwhelming, but I definitely have learned to set boundaries and set some self-care time. I do block out periods for my own personal mental health. So yeah, it can be a lot, but I definitely set those boundaries, and my self-care is very important to me. So I have no problem with, shutting down and taking care of myself and letting those around me, this is what I have to do.
I love it. How has we ask this question to all our guests with different industries. How has the pandemic impacted the movie industry?
It has impacted it greatly, and some say in a negative way, but I say definitely in a positive way. The pandemic has actually opened up more doors to people in the film industry because things were shut down, because big theaters and in different places, they need content, and things were shut down. Hollywood was shut down.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thrive of streaming, and that was the thrive of the independent filmmaker, because we don't have these same rules. So we can make a movie that you need, so
Right.
So a lot of that, I really think that the pandemic actually opened up a bigger door for those independent wise to create and tell their stories and to be seen on wide platforms and to make careers out of it. And you no longer have I have to go to Hollywood to do it. I can do it in New Jersey. I can do it in Philadelphia. I can do it in Atlanta. I can do it in Texas. It opened up those doors now. So now films are no longer based here and based there solely. They're all over the place now.
I love it. I love it. And I love the next question that's out there. It says, what type of project would stretch you artistically? And how would you advise an actress to approach a project that will stretch her artistically? So again, what type of project would stretch you artistically, and how would you advise another actress to approach a project that will stretch her artistically?
I would say any project that would cause you to as an actress to be completely different than yourself, to have you step outside of your own personal comfort zones as a person, would stretch you, but how to handle that is just basically understanding that it's not you. That it's not you. But I would encourage every actor to embrace that challenge. That's the challenge you want. That's the roles you want to stretch you, to pull you out of yourself. Those are what you want. Because when you get those, with those meat and potato type characters, you can really, that's when your artistry really shines.
Tell us about a time when you were stretched. Walk us through what role, what movie, how did you know you were being stretched, and what did you do? Because you said you have to embrace it. Tell us about that time and what did you do?
I had a role, what was it? I had a role in it was a pilot. And for those who don't know, pilots are normally what you film and put together to present to a network to get the show or idea off the ground. A lot of times those pilots are not seen by the public, but you have to go through that process to show the networks for any idea that you have. So I filmed a pilot for a show. It was based off of like a therapy type show. And I had to play a character who had deep-rooted father issues. And and was going through all these things, and I was in therapy. So I had to go through therapy sessions, being deep rooted in these father issues. Well, for those who know me and my dad, I'm daddy's girl. Like, we're like this, we're two peas in a pod. I'm so close to my father. So it was very challenging for me to try to get into the mindset of not having that relationship with my father and it being completely opposite. Like, that was a challenge for me, because it was like, I don't have any father issues. I don't have daddy issues at all. And it just tried to fathom that. It's like, that's not my role, and it has never been. So that role was very challenging, to try to really understand those who do and those who have. And because it wasn't just, oh, I have to say these lines and stuff and getting, I really had to be in that space, because it was a lot of improv. It was a therapy session. So I had to be asked and respond in a way of a person with these issues. And it was challenging, because it was a lot of like, I have to get there, because I can't identify with this. So, but I can't fake it. There's no faking it. It's therapy. We're showing it that there's no faking it. So I really have to feel and be in this moment and really understand what it's like to have these issues. And like I said, the crying, the tears, everything that came out, it was just, I really had to go there.
Right. This is very insightful, very insightful. We also ask this question a lot. What problem do you solve? So as a lawyer, as a leader, as a nurse, as a project manager, as a consultant, now as a filmmaker, an actor, what problems do you help solve? What people problems, what world problems do you help solve through your craft?
Through my craft, I would say all those type problems, I believe that I solve, because when you're telling stories, we're giving people a voice, we're giving groups a voice, and we're solving that problem there. We're giving people a voice that don't have a voice. In storytelling, we're able to showcase things in a manner and cover topics that you might not necessarily want to have a conversation about, but you're going to watch, and it gets your mind thinking, going on that. I never thought about that, or I didn't know this was an issue. So the platform of being a filmmaker and being an actress, to me, is so unique. Is we can cover so many things. We can start those conversations. We can give insight. We can show you what you don't know or haven't seen in an artistic way to get these issues out there.
Sure.
So yeah, definitely. You can encompass all issues in filmmaking.
I love it. I believe we have one more video clip seeing you in action. Let's take a look, and you can speak to it afterwards. Let's see Dominique Janelle back in action again. Let's take a look.
Who do you work for?
You, Leon. I work for you. It's just one person after the next. You're just not going to be satisfied until you just bring all the heat down on the time.
This is what I do, and I'm handling it. You got nothing to worry about, babe. You believe me?
Luke, you keep making decisions and choices that affect the both of us. You just don't understand the life that you're getting involved in. You just don't understand the things that I've had to go through.
What have you had to go through, Haley? Tell me, what have you had to do?
I've been making our business legitimate. That's what I've been doing.
And you have been safe all the while.
Safe? Do you think I feel safe right now, Luke? Because I don't.
Wow. Wow. Well, at least the truth comes out. You're right. It is a dog eats dog world out there. But at least I don't have to let it change my faith, my beliefs, or my morals.
Mic drop, mic drop. Talk to us about what we just saw.
Oh man, that was the first part of that was a show called By Blood Only. It was a show about a cartel family, and I was the niece of the main cartel person, and that show was it was crazy because he was very cold-hearted and cold-blooded, and I was his niece, and he actually had me. It was that was tough. He actually had, there was a scene in that show, and he made me kill my own father. It was terrible, which was his brother.
He made you, huh?
It was bad, and what he was using me for, he was using me as a kind of like an informant in a situation. He basically put me in a life I didn't want to be in. It was tough. And then the other clip was actually a great topic piece. Was it was a group of women. We had our own company, very successful, but we had different viewpoints on things that were going on in life. And what happened was it surrounded the topic of innocent Black men getting killed. And the one woman, she just was saying that it was justified. We don't know their stories. They probably did something wrong. Yep. And then it's like, really? Like, as a Black woman, how could you say that? And it was because her husband wasn't Black. So it was, that dynamic in there. And it was just like her whole perspective of it. It was not just, okay, that you're in pain. It was a little insulting. So that scene, I was addressing, her perspective on how we disagreed on it.
I love watching the variety of characters you assume, going from angry to sad to loving. Even the last clip where he went to go in for a kiss and you like, okay. Where's the Altoids? No, I'm only joking. What's next for you? What projects are you working on?
Currently right now, I'm being a production manager and assistant director on a production called American Zealot. Very excited about that. That's based off of the life of civil rights leader Cecil B. Moore.
Yes.
In Philadelphia. Yeah. So that production I'm working on now. We've shot a few things and we're going to finish shooting until the end of the year. So that's huge. And that's different for me because that sparked the history buff in me. So that was cool. It is funny because I think I'm like one of the youngest people in the production team. So it's like when I first got hired, it was like, Dad, do you know about Cecil B. Moore? I'm like, I don't know. I gotta get Googling. I don't know. But this project is I'm so excited for it. It's gonna be phenomenal.
I love it. We're coming to the end. The hour flew by, as it always does. And we conclude the show the same way all the time. And I do this format because I'm a speaker and I run my mouth all over the world. We ask for our guests to give us a 15 to 30-second keynote on life, on their industry, where you're encouraging us to do something, where you're challenging us. We get the mic ready for you. Mic check, mic check. You move a little closer into the camera and give us Dominique Janelle's thoughts about life, about finishing the year strong, about legacy, about you leaving the job to find your joy. Give us a little bit of encouragement on what we could be doing going forward in our lives.
I would say my biggest piece, and I say this, and I cannot say this enough, finding your purpose is huge. Understanding that whatever you're doing now, if that's not what makes you happy and that's not what you feel is you're called to do, you don't have to continue doing it. You can do what you love and provide for your family. So definitely finding that purpose, finding your purpose and walking in it is so important. Knowing that your life and what you desire matters, and you don't have to sit there and just work for somebody or just do a job just to pay a bill, that you can really live in your purpose and you could be fulfilled financially as well. So definitely stepping out on faith and finding that purpose and having the boldness to pursue it.
Wow. Powerful words. And I've witnessed this. I have watched Dominique evolve from her regular 9-to-5 to this filmmaker, actress, business owner. She's doing it. And she took the leap.
Yes.
Moved from perceived security to known joy, known happiness, and just being intentional every day. Dominique, we more than thank you for making time, because I know your days are 16 hours, but making time to spend time on the Dr. James Show. And I look forward to watching this again and again and again. And I saw your face when you watching the movies, the video clips, you had a big smile. Yeah. And listen, folks, thank you for joining us. Join us again next time. And please bring a friend or two. Another session that I always say is informational and transformational. That's what we do on the Dr. James Show. We'll see you next time. And remember, you've just got gym-packed. See you later.